Here with Oklahoma safety Billy Bowman Jr. And all right, Billy, you've gotten this question all day. Like, you're playing in the SEC now. I'm not going to ask you how scared you are to play in the SEC. Here's what I'm curious about. You've gotten to play in the Big 12 and the SEC and a couple different versions of the Big 12. How cool is it that you're going to get to go to all these different stadiums in your career?
It's very cool. You know, that's actually one of the most things I'm looking forward to going to the SEC is, you know, seeing these different stadiums and going to playing these different, teams, you know, like Jordan here at our first away game. You know, people say that's electric. You know, I've never been there. I've never seen it. You know, I'm also looking forward to Ole Miss and LSU as well.
So Auburn, everything they've told you about it is true. Like, there are days there where you cannot hear anything, and I'm sure they're going to welcome you all to the SEC properly in that game. But so you've gotten to play at some really cool places. What's the coolest one so far that you've played at?
I'd say West Virginia was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
West Virginia is pretty cool. You know, it's definitely a different scenery. It's something that, you know, necessarily being from down south, I'm not used to seeing that type of scenery. That was cool. That's really the only one that comes off the top of my mind.
Not BYU?
BYU actually.
That's different now.
It was. But the field was terrible.
Really?
It was the worst field I've ever played on in my life.
So you're looking up the mountains. You're like, oh, these mountains are beautiful, but this blow on my feet is not great.
The field was terrible, but the mountains, it was literally in the mountains. It was awesome. Yeah.
So as bad as the field was, though, 100-yard pick six.
Yeah.
All right, how long does it feel like it takes when you're running back 100-yard pick six?
That one right there felt like it took forever. Now, if I was to go out there right now and run 100 straight yards, I would get there really quick.
It's pretty quick, yeah.
But that one felt like forever.
And that was one where you kind of noticed something, noticed there was an uncovered receiver, you jumped the route, and was the quarterback almost ran you back?
Yeah, it was the quarterback, which he was actually, when we did our scouting and stuff like that, I think they said something about he had track in his background. He was a really fast guy.
Yeah.
So the quarterback was fast. I'm not just slow. But, yes, I seen an uncovered receiver.
How bad would the meetings have been if he'd gotten you on, like, the one?
And they would have joked on me for the rest of the week.
So this defense, you know, y'all have been building up to this. This is, since Coach Venables got there, he's been trying to make this a deeper defense, a better defense. Where are y'all at now versus maybe when he got here?
We're so far ahead. I mean, when he first got here, you know, everything was brand new to us. Even the older guys, you know, they've never seen nothing like it. All coaches have a different, you know, philosophy of how they go about what they go about. Yeah. And so I think of them coming in their first year, you know, all of us, we really didn't know what we were doing, you know. But now going into the third year, you know, you have experienced guys on defense, you know, you have elite guys on offense, you know. It's just we're in for something special, and we're headed in the right track. And it's definitely going to be something to keep an eye out for.
When did y'all really feel like you were comfortable schematically? Did it take until last season to really get comfortable with it?
I would say, last season, it was still here and there, you know. I would say this spring, this summer, and we're going to go into fall camp now, is when everything is starting to click, and it's the perfect time because we're going to be right at the season, and everything is starting to makes sense, you know, because after the season is when you truly get to reflect. Yeah. And so that helped us learn a lot is after the season, you know, going back and correcting the things that, you know, we need to be corrected.
And, you know, last season was one of those strategies kind of up and down. How do you build consistency? And I realize, you know, with a schedule like yours, that's going to be hard.
Yeah. It's going to be hard. And you have to put consistency in its place. Yeah. Meaning you have to start over every week. Yeah. You can't get bored of doing it. You know, you work from January to August just working out. You're not playing against no opponents. You're playing against your own teammates, doing your own drills. But you work so long, and you get to the season, and sometimes the season can get, you know, it can be long. You know, so what we have to do as a team is we have to be player-led, and we have to make sure we restart every week and treat it brand new.
So as a guy who's seasoned from the other side, what are we going to see from Jackson Arnold this season?
You're going to see him connecting with all his explosive playmakers on that.
I was going to say, there's a bunch of guys you got to cover. It's not fun, I'm sure.
There's a lot of guys. Yeah. There's a lot of receivers. You know, obviously we got Gavin Sawchuk coming back at running back. You know, we're going to have an explosive offense like Oklahoma is used to having, in these past years. But Jackson Arnold can definitely sling it, and he can definitely use his legs too.
So I saw you were interviewed earlier today, and somebody had asked you about horns down, and you were wondering if it's going to be okay. I talked to John McDade, who is the coordinator of officials, a few minutes ago, actually, and said, how are we feeling about this? He's like, perfectly fine. Yeah. No reasonable person would be offended. So feel free if you want to do that. I mean, I'm the Texas people. I'm sure are not going to like that if I do that tomorrow. But is that part of the the Oklahoma culture though? Like to be able to throw that.
It is to be able to throw that. That's a part of the Oklahoma culture. It's fun. But then again, at the end of the day, it's a hand signal. Like you're going to give somebody a penalty for putting a hand sign up. Like I could do the peace sign.
True. Just don't do half a peace sign.
Right. Yeah. But still, it's a hand signal at the end of the day. Yeah, it means something, but it should be okay.
Have you thought about, because it's interesting, some schools have the hand signals, because we're trying to figure out, you can't do, a gator chomp down. No. Like, when people beat Florida, they'll go gator chomp at the Florida crowd, but they'll just do the chomp. Yeah. I guess South Carolina's got that spurs up thing, so you can kind of do that down, I guess. But have you ever thought about starting an Oklahoma hand signal? Is it...
Not really. I mean, I see a lot of times, I see a lot of times people just do the OU, not necessarily a hand signal, but something with the arms, though.
Oh, that's like the Ohio State thing where they're just spelling. I feel like that's too much work.
Yeah, it could be at times.
And then Texas A&M, they've got the guys who do the yell leaders that do the hand, so you don't need to put those down. Yeah. But is it fun to come in with Texas though? To have your rival come with you?
That's the only right way to do it. I feel like one of us going in and one of us staying, that's wrong.
Yeah.
We travel together. That's our rivalry, but it feels good going in there with them because, it's self-explanatory.
So we're here in Dallas. So for people who've not experienced it, what is it like as a player to run out of the tunnel in Cotton Bowl?
Oh, it's a feeling like no other game. You walk out that tunnel and the field is split right at the 50. Half orange, half red. The game is loud the whole entire time because it's half red, half orange. One side is going to be cheering the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
So just going out of that, man, it's chills, and being a captain in that game last year, walking out there on the field, it's just surreal. It's crazy.
And when you get to leave with that golden cowboy hat on?
Oh, yeah. We're gonna keep it here in Norman this year.
Billy, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples On 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.